What's going on, everybody? Just going to be a quick recap on the day, going over some key trades and basically just what happened throughout the day on ES and NASDAQ. Just a little snapshot of the markets before we get started here. The bond yields are down about 2%, dollars down about 0.75. Euro is obviously up because it's inverse dollar. Yen dollar pair is down. Bitcoin is down 1.75, so a little bit weak on the day. And then gold actually had a pretty strong day today, up 1.4%. So it looks like gold is the winner overall for the commodities today. But looking at the close on the daily, you really only needed one line to see kind of how the macro traders were trading today. And we are sweeping that prior high, that line from May 20th to May 19th. We had that prior high back then, and we did break that high with that early announcement that happened last night. And into the morning hours, we had that announcement of the tariffs kind of being blocked. And then the market, funny enough, we actually had the headline come out, about an hour ago, saying that that tariff block was taken away. So now the tariffs are being put back into place. But the market was actually pricing that in very early. The market pretty much knew that that was going to get rescinded since 4 a.m. We were selling off since 4 a.m. pretty much every single 30-minute candle to the downside. But yeah, looking at today with that bearish sweep of that high, not looking too good as long as we stay below 59.80 to 6,000. And then if we look at the same thing on NASDAQ, staying below 21,550 to 600 is looking pretty bearish. So probably going to get some macro sell pressure for the next couple of trading days, obviously depending on how that data comes out tomorrow. We can't plan too much ahead because of all that data coming out. So just looking at today, not really planning too far ahead. It is pretty bearish. That sweep of that high, not looking too good. Now looking at our trade plan from today, we talked about holding below 59.70. We wanted to look for 59.35 and 59.10. Those levels were quite early. They were taken out pretty early on. So now we hit down to 5884, breaking those levels by about 30 points. So pretty bearish there, but we did close back into the POC of today and yesterday, actually. So kind of building up that POC node from yesterday. So today's POC and yesterday's POC, pretty much the same level. They're only about, I think, 10 points off from each other. So just continuing to build up that value. Now looking at what we talked about throughout the day, if you guys were on the live stream or if you guys were in the Discord, pretty much all you needed today was VWAP. The early session, the early stream from 9:30 to 11, you pretty much were just failing VWAP. You just kept having those bear flags into VWAP. You had a bear flag into VWAP at 9:35. Led to a lower low. That's what you look for on those bear flag trades, is you want to see a lower low as your target. You had another one that was a little bit sloppier around that 950, which was a little bit better on NASDAQ. You can see right there at 955, another bear flag into VWAP, sold off beautifully, new low on that one as well. Then we had another bear flag into VWAP at 1030. That one wasn't as clean because you weren't hitting VWAP on NASDAQ and you were front running it on ES as well. And as I said earlier, you typically want to look for a new low when you have these bear flag into VWAP trades. So you would be trading somewhere around here as a short trade. Your stop loss would be somewhere above probably this high right here. And then we would be looking for a new low. So looking for a break of this low. And as I talk about in the bear flag into VWAP playbook video, if you start to put in higher lows and you don't break down into that lower low, then that trade is coming to an end. So when we started to put in these higher lows right here, that was kind of a warning sign that you probably wanted to close your trade or possibly bring your stop to break even, and then you could have closed your trade on that break even. If we continue, we had yet another bear flag into VWAP. This one, once again, not as clean. You did break through VWAP a little bit before selling off. And then once again, you did not get a new low until later on in the day. So looking at just this little move right here, you probably would have closed that one for a small profit, or once again pulling it back, pulling your stop back to break even because you were failing to put in a lower low. You always want to see those lower lows on that VWAP trade. As soon as you start stalling and you're not putting in that lower low and you start putting in higher lows, then you really want to look to close that trade. So this one was a much weaker trade. And then you had another one right here, another bear flag into VWAP. Like I said, you pretty much just needed VWAP the entire day. So failed VWAP yet again around 11:30 going into that London close. And this time you did get your target. You got that lower low. So you would have been targeting that prior low around 59.20. And as we can see right here and way down here, you broke that low pretty easily. So that bear flag did its job. And I think that was the last major one of the day. You actually had one more. You had one more right here around 110. So another pushback into VWAP, and then you sold off. You did not get a new low. You didn't break this low down here, but pretty much every other low you did break. So it wasn't a terrible trade, but it wasn't hitting your exact target. You almost broke it on NASDAQ. NASDAQ gave you a double bottom there. So you could have targeted that low, but you didn't get a break of that low. But yeah, pretty much up until, what is that, around 2 o'clock, all you needed was VWAP. And then once you started stalling on that low around 2 to 2:30, we talked about this in Discord. It kind of became a little bit of a 30-minute trend flip where you started protecting those 30-minute lows. So you can see around like 2 o'clock here, we broke the 30-minute low, broke the 30-minute low again. And then this candle here, we did not break any prior 30-minute lows from back here. And then this candle at 2:30, we did not break that 2 o'clock 30-minute low. And we actually broke the 2 o'clock 30-minute high. So we had a little bit of a trend shift on that 2:30 candle. And then going into the close, we continued that trend shift by breaking the 30-minute highs and not breaking the 30-minute lows. So if you were trading basically from 2 o'clock up until the close, you were just watching those 30-minute candles, watching that trend shift, and you really didn't want to be bearish until we started pressuring those 30-minute lows, and we didn't do that. So there wasn't really any bearish momentum past 2 o'clock. So realistically today, you wanted to either trade the retrace of yesterday's value, which I can show here. That was the trade plan that we had. You had the retrace from 59.35 down to 59.10. Same level on NASDAQ would have been 21.503 for that value high, down to 21.434. Or you wanted to trade those bear flags into VWAP that we talked about earlier. We talked about those quite a bit on the morning streams. If you guys did not see today's morning stream, make sure to go back and check that out. But all right, guys, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a recap on what happened today and some of the trades you could have taken. Long story short, you were basically trading VWAP the entire day. But all right, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow for our morning stream starting at 9:30. Peace, everybody.